Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: Goldman downgrades Hong Kong traded China stocks, raises India. More capital, Alumnus Grover closing Hong Kong hedge fund firm. Apple's China woes stoke $20 billion Xiaomi rally. Stock market today, Asian shares are mostly lower in quiet trading ahead of Biden-Xi meeting. Asia stocks climb after Wall Street tech rally, markets wrap. Goldman downgrades Hong Kong traded China stocks, raises India. Bloomberg. Goldman Sachs has downgraded its rating on Hong Kong listed Chinese stocks due to low earnings growth and a potential consensus downgrade. The bank has upgraded shares in India, citing the market's strategic appeal and strong earnings growth prospects. Meanwhile, Goldman remains overweight on Chinese onshore shares due to opportunities in sectors related to the country's shift towards higher productivity and greater self-sufficiency. More capital, Alumnus Grover closing Hong Kong hedge fund firm. Bloomberg. Gaurav Grover, a former employee of More Capital Management, is reportedly closing down his Hong Kong-based hedge fund firm, Tricon Asset Management. After about 5 years of operation, Grover is taking a break to spend more time with his family and does not plan to retire. Tricon's hedge fund was up 2.9% this year through August, outperforming the flat return of a Eureka hedge gauge tracking Asia-Pacific funds. However, the closure is said to be unrelated to the state of the Asian stock markets or geopolitical tensions. Apple's China woes stoke $20 billion Xiaomi rally. Bloomberg. Chinese smartphone maker Xiaomi has seen its market value increase by $20 billion since June, capitalizing on Apple's sliding sales in the country. The company's 14 series has generated more than 1 million orders since launching in October, while the firm's work on electric vehicles (EVs) is also seen as a factor in its impressive performance. Xiaomi stock has surged by more than 60% in the past few months, making it the best performer on the Hang Seng Tech Index. Asia stocks climb after Wall Street tech rally, markets wrap. Yahoo! Asian shares mostly rose today following a tech-driven rally on Wall Street, as investors look ahead to crucial U.S. inflation data due Tuesday. Stocks gained in Japan and Hong Kong, while those in mainland China and Australia dipped. The moves followed Friday's 2.3% gain for the Nasdaq 100, fueled by a record high for Microsoft. Stocks gain, bonds calm as Fed outlook trumps Moody's downgrade. Yahoo! Stocks in Asia rose on Monday while treasuries and the dollar kept their composure, as investors took their lead from Wall Street's Friday rally, shrugging off a Moody's downgrade to the U.S. credit outlook. Tech stocks stood out, as they had in the U.S. at the end of last week, after the calming of long-term treasury yields since the start of this month boosted the outlook for borrowing-dependent growth shares. After record rains, critics pan policy incentives for basement car parks. South China Morning Post. Industry experts in Hong Kong are calling on the government to review its guidelines on car park construction after a once-in-500 years rainstorm flooded underground facilities, causing widespread financial damage. The government exempts private underground car parks from a building's gross floor area, while ground floor parking space is only given a 50% exemption, and upper floor car parks are fully counted. Developers prefer to build underground car parks to maximize commercial and residential space. Costs for building basement car parks are 30% to 50% higher than for above-ground parking spaces. UK to pare back new takeover screening powers, says Deputy PM. Financial Times. The UK government is set to narrow and refine the National Security and Investment Act, which gives the government the power to scrutinize and block takeovers, with the Deputy Prime Minister claiming he wants to make the act more business-friendly. It comes less than 2 years after the act was introduced and the UK sought to tighten the rules governing mergers and acquisitions amid concerns over national security. The government's position has also shifted from celebrating the acquisition of Arm by SoftBank to adding the new screening powers last year to now relaxing them. Allianz GI bullish on China due to Beijing's focus on high-quality growth. South China Morning Post. Allianz Global Investors, Allianz GI, is optimistic about its prospects in China and Hong Kong due to China's focus on high-quality growth and a growing middle class. The company's CEO, Tobias Pross, highlighted China's pension reform and the rising incomes of the middle class as key drivers of demand for wealth management services, providing opportunities for fund companies. Pross also mentioned China's transition to a high-quality growth economy and its strong technology sector as reasons for Allianz GI's positive outlook on China. The company is planning to expand in mainland China and expects Asia to continue being the strongest region for growth. Japan's aging savers entice U.S. asset manager Apollo Global. Nikkei Asia. Apollo Global Management is marketing safe yield products to risk-averse Japanese savers preparing for retirement. The asset manager is offering insurance annuities that offer buyers guaranteed annual yields of up to 6%, which are funded via private credit investments. Apollo's lending is mostly focused on investment grade, or what I call fixed income replacement, said CEO Mark Rowan. The company has also shifted its focus from private equity to private credit over the past decade. Apollo is talking to companies including Sumitomo Mitsui Trust Holdings and regional banks to market these products in Japan. Japanese savers are particularly cautious and tend to invest their savings in domestic bank accounts that pay meager returns. By offering safe yield products, Apollo is hoping to tap into the large amount of money sitting in Japanese bank accounts. The 42 flight routes that disappeared during the pandemic and never returned. Telegraph. Virgin Atlantic will discontinue its London to Austin route from January 2022 due to a decline in corporate demand, specifically in the tech sector. The cancellation is part of a wider trend as airlines trim their networks in response to reduced business travel during the pandemic. Many carriers have dropped routes that are not financially viable without corporate demand. While some airlines have added new routes, such as Virgin's recent services to the Bahamas and the Maldives, the long-term impact on airline networks remains uncertain. Emirates is one exception to the trend, having added new routes and reinstated all but 4 of its 2019 destinations. Art market alive and kicking in Hong Kong. SCMP opinion. Art exports from Hong Kong increased by nearly 60% in the first quarter of this year, compared to the same period in 2022, according to a report by UBS and Art Basel. The surge in exports was attributed to events such as Art Basel Hong Kong, which was held for the first time since the easing of pandemic-related restrictions. The report also found that high-net-worth collectors were more optimistic about the art market than stock investments, with many planning to buy more art next year. The findings reflect the importance of art shows and auctions in building Hong Kong's international reputation. Minister and officials defend Hong Kong over delayed, shortened Rallycross event. South China Morning Post. The World Rallycross Championship races in Hong Kong have been defended by the Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, Kevin Yun-Hung, despite a delayed start and last-minute alterations to the circuit. The races were held in the city for the first time, and Young said that the government hopes to do better in future. Last-minute changes shortened the track, leading to criticism from attendees. However, Wesley Wanwai-Hay, chief consultant for the event, said that the organizers had succeeded and that the event had been a success. Britain Jolie wins Translanta by UTMB, with Xiong of China first woman. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong runners Chung Man-yi and Ng Chin Nam finished second and third, respectively, in the women's category of the Translanta by UTMB trail races. The event, part of the UTMB World Series, took place over 129 kilometers and saw 247 runners complete the race. Chung finished in 21 hours, 55 minutes and 59 seconds, while Ng finished 2.5 hours behind. Chung said she felt she had underperformed and struggled with fatigue and hunger during the race. Xiang Fuzhou of China won the women's category, while British runner Tom Jolie won the men's category. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.